I tried to go so fast it glitched out my stream deck. Hey everybody, it's Ace Attorney. I seem to have crashed my stream deck. Oh, nope, there we go. Got it.
Yeah?
Everything's fine. Hey, it's the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
It's pretty great.
Now, I don't remember if we actually talked to this fool or not. I don't think we did.
We
I think
did.
I just looked around at the
Oh, this
environment.
guy.
Yeah. I just looked around because I wasn't sure what was... I didn't think we'd have enough time to interrogate him. I'm pretty sure this was you. Also, because it's British.
Yeah,
it's British Gumshoe.
I was British Gumshoe.
Yes.
Very true. Big true. Big same.
True.
Oh my god, it did happen, Moloch. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Except that this is as far as we're gonna get because I'm gonna eat this yogurt cup instead of reading my lines.
Okay.
Yogurt. I'm kidding. Don't skip it. I'm kidding.
I was gonna say I'll give you about
It's a joke.
I'll give you about 15 seconds before I do it myself.
I know. Jesus Christ. Tell me
will not
about Scotland
hesitate.
Yard, Inspector.
Bitch.
You know, I could just read through mouthfuls of yogurt.
You could, I suppose.
Not like we haven't done that before, have we now, Steven?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Ever since I read about it in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I've been fascinated by the place. Yard is the most sophisticated police organization you'll find anywhere in the world, ma'am. Oh, and you know I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet.
It does make them look the part, seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. You certainly get the sense that this is a man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city.
Oh yes, doesn't he look wonderful? Hi, Mama Guy. Peter London Bobby's hard going, I can tell you. Oh, really? First thing in the morning, you know he does. I've waited weeks to tell you this tidbit. In the fan translation, instead of prison, they use the term gaol, which is an old spelling of jail.
Weird.
Weird. I like how he just flicks his hand and then a new fish appears in his fish and chips cone.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that?
It's very smooth.
It's amazing. He was riding around, revs his old labels at his beat so he can get off to work.
What? He wakes people up?
Yep. Raps on the windows with the long pole. Did it myself going a bit back. I had no idea. Well, he walks with the people of the town. It's another one of his duties. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the regulation distance.
I can't really imagine how far that is, but it sounds like a long way.
Well, listen here, Molo guy. You're talking about a game where we have Sherlock Holmes, so maybe they just didn't.
Got him.
Got him, man. No, I'm kidding. Let me see.
The brass in this track is really hitting me.
20 miles. That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama.
On foot? That's definitely taking things a step too far.
There's actually multiple steps too far. Anyway, it gets dark, of course. He has the important job of lighting all the street gas lamps.
Makes
Oh
sense.
my.
Someone's got to do it. And I suppose in between all of those duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases as well?
And chase after criminals trying to evade the law. No, I'm not sure you two could go in between exactly. More alongside, but yes. They expected to handle those jobs as well. So we do have men killing over from time to time, I admit.
Right system, right system.
Sometimes they just die, you know, innit? I'd always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said.
A wake a fella
now
just
I don't
keel
want
over
to.
once in a while.
It's with a heavy heart that I shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Naruhodo.
Excuse me? Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. Alright, what about the case? What's going on, man?
It happens around 5 in the evening 2 days ago. Just there on that open bit of pavement. Victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a knife from behind.
Is it right that the lady is still unconscious now? You mentioned that she's being treated in the hospital. Or, sorry, treated in hospital.
I never said she was a lady. Truth is, unless she comes down pretty smartish, we won't be able to find out much about her at all.
Suppose that means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course. She just shoved that
Here's
fish
a
and
map of
chips
the
in his
local
pocket.
area. It's the whole thing. I happen to have on me. You can take it if you want.
Really? Are you sure?
It's your policy to give the lawyers defending suspects the old bit of information to go on.
I haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still.
Yeah, but it's a video game, so we're not gonna.
Yeah, but you're gonna, though.
Thank you, Inspector. We gratefully accept.
The local map has been entered into the court record.
No. I'm getting yogurt.
So it looks like right about there is where Meerschaum Street, Calabash Road, and Briar Road. One of these things is not like the others. Alright. Good to know, I suppose.
I feel like one of those streets I heard of before from like the Jack the Ripper case.
Yeah, probably, I think Briar Road. Probably.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That sounds right. Those other two
It's
feel
close
made of.
anyways. I was Burner Street, maybe?
Burner Street?
I guess
sounds
that's
right.
similar.
I don't know, I haven't listened to the fucking, 12 hours of podcast I listened to once in a couple months.
Anyway. As far as we know, there's no one else on the scene other than the victim and young country crime fan who showed the college man. Who
What?
did it, you think? Not much of a head scratch.
Well, I know Mr.
Oh,
Natsume
it's
is
gotcha,
also
is it?
claiming not to have seen anyone else around, but...
Takes place in the 19th century, but Soseki was only in London from 1900 to 1903. So they're definitely fudging the timeline. But yeah, but here's the thing, Momo
Yeah,
guy.
but it's-
This game also has Herlock
It
Sholmes
also
in it.
has
Have you
Sherlock Holmes in it, the fictional character.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Momo guy. It's just really funny because you're like, I want to make this timeline work, and I'm over here like, Herlock Sholmes is in this game. There's also a little girl with military-grade weaponry, like a rocket launcher. But yes, it is weird that they would.
It's weird that they would
Fuck with
pull
the
a real
dates.
man for some reason.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the weird part. Is the thing, right? That's what's weird about it. They're like blending. Will it blend? Just because he didn't see anyone, it doesn't mean we can be sure that nobody else was present. No, I'm sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure.
Why? How? What?
How? Well, you see, we got a security camera. Yours, ma'am, the precise moment of stabbing didn't go unnoticed.
It what?
They keep mentioning Her Majesty, implying that Queen Victoria is still alive. I feel like Mulguy's got like a big billboard, or not billboard, like a big
Fucking-
corkboard full of like clues and string, being like, what year is this goddamn game?
It's impossible.
We have two very reliable witnesses know this.
What? How is that possible?
It was a typical foggy London day. You obviously didn't see him.
There were witnesses now?
Yeah, we made him up. I mean,
Who are these witnesses, Inspector?
FL and his wife. Yeah, the man's one of the most reliable and well-expected residents in all of London.
Oh, so he did it then.
Definitely he did. He's a copper from Scotland Yard.
So yeah, he definitely did it.
So he's super Omega did it.
Policeman?
You know, that's one of the
Might change
theories
things.
about Jack the Ripper, is that he may have been a cop.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of theories about Jack the Ripper in
There's
there.
so many fucking theories about Jack the Ripper, dude.
And this policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked? Nothing peculiar about that, man. Part and parcel of being a bobby. Catching them bang in the act and all that.
Do you think it might
I'm
be
sorry,
possible
what did you say?
for us to ask that policeman a few questions?
Be my guest. You can ask him what you like. In court tomorrow.
Oh.
I've no doubt it'll be someone as a witness. So that'll give you something to look forward to.
That's that then. He's got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, it seems. But what if we just did it anyway?
A policeman witnessed the incident. As your judicial assistant, I must warn you that this can make our job very difficult indeed.
Yes, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have warned me of that too.
You know what, Mulga? I think it would be best if you just let the inconsistencies lie, because I think they're gonna keep happening. I think they're gonna keep happening.
It's going to begin hurting you at some point, if it hasn't already.
Like, you're gonna say something else, and you're gonna be like, actually. See, there you go, Mulligan. You've also goofed the dates.
Ha-ha.
Easy to do, isn't it,
Isn't it, Mulligan? Isn't it, Mulligan?
Stupid.
Oh yes, one more thing, Inspector.
One more thing.
Oh.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
It was just what?
What? What?
The person who led you to the suspect. I hear that was Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
What are you bringing him up for?
Was it something I said? The color is drained from his cheeks.
I hate that guy.
I hate that bitch. What about Mr. Sholmes?
He sucks. Hate him. Who did you hear that name from?
Oh, well, it was Mr. Natsume who mentioned it. He said that Mr. Sholmes was with the police when they entered his lodgings.
I'm sure it was the result of one of Mr. Sholmes's inspirational great deductions.
Ah.
Fiddle faddle.
Ah.
Ah. That man's an amateur, and I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere.
Oh.
I don't know where he gets his information from, but he turns up at the scene of the crime. Waters around spotting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case.
Yes, he's quite astounding, isn't he?
He is a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he?
No!
Gibble gabble! Alright, I'd heard of Fiddle Faddle, but I had not heard of Gibble Gabble.
Gibble Gabble's a new one.
Ever seen this before?
Oh yes, that's Ranster Magazine.
The wonderful publication in which the adventures of Herlock Sholmes appears. Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several of the Yard's detectives in its stories. And the so-called great detective makes a mockery of all of us. If you ask anyone at the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any Herlock Sholmes tale at all. I would strangle that bitch if it wasn't a leak.
If it weren't for laws in this land, I'd have killed him myself.
I would have, or beat him to death with me fish and chips right here.
Make him choke on the damn things. Bloody hell.
Bloody hell. Cunt.
Got a license
Well, I
to be
suppose-
stabbed.
By the Queen. Well, I suppose there is an element of that. We work our socks off, every one of us, only to be thumped by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective. The man's as dangerous to us in Scotland Yard's as all criminals. That can't really be true, can it, Inspector?
Clearly, the great detective and the police have a complex relationship.
Unclenches his fish and chips. That twitchy Japanese bet goes on show the mall. You going to defend him or not?
Well, he just blinks slowly at us.
Makes no difference to me, but I will just say this. Yeah, will only lie worth his salt would touch that case of the Marsh Bowl.
Because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey, you mean?
Reaper of the Bailey. Is that what you say to the man now? Waste of time trying. It is all a bit strange though.
Sorry?
The Reaper, he hasn't appeared in court once for a good few years now. Yes, we did hear something to that effect. And the only people he usually balls with are real scum. Master criminals, the violent ones.
Master criminals?
The violent ones? That's right. Yeah, and mix his victims. How he deals with those guaranteed to go to the guys for his sins.
But Mr. Natsume wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely.
It's just my point, sunshine. Yes, the young one was stabbed, but he didn't kill her. Couldn't even say intent was there. He's got his license for stab.
He's got a stabbing
So
license.
this is
Can stab who he pleases.
stabbing
in it.
license. License is a license. So this isn't the sort of case I'll be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase, because he's a
It's
vampire.
not exactly a minor infraction, is it?
Now the last tidbits I have. The title of this chapter, The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. I don't know why I said that like that, but is a reference to one of Soseki's books simply titled Kokoro.
Heart.
I thought it was something to do with Cloud Curio, but I think that's a Magic the Gathering card. And not related to anything else. No, there's got to be more to it. Some reason he's taking an interest. Oh, I just don't know what it is. Really? What sort of reason, Inspector? You think I know what's going on inside the head of that Lord of Darkness? You'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial.
Are we really going to have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness, as he put it? A little bit dramatic. Well, I don't think we're going to get any more useful information out of the detective.
Mr. Naruto, can I make a suggestion?
Oh, yes, what is it?
Well, it seems to me that we must speak with him about this.
By him, do you mean Mr. Sholmes?
Oh no! Yes, Mr. Sholmes, exactly.
Look at those shining eyes. You can't wait, can you? Well, Mr. Natsume did blame Mr. Sholmes for all of this, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He really did. That's why we need to go see, which makes him an involved party in the case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not. I assure you, it's not simply my selfish desire to meet Mr. Sholmes again.
The trouble is, we have no idea of the man's address, even. Oh.
It's Baker Street! Oh no, she's rearing to go.
How do you know
Get
that?
out there, Ryunosuke! It's in the stories, of course. 22-1 Baker Street, or however they say that usually.
I don't know.
The most famous address in the world.
Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from
221
going, I
maybe?
suppose. We better try to find our way there before Susato-san gets any more excited and unpredictable. Unexcited and predictable.
Unexcited and Hurrah! I'll summon a carriage.
Me on any
I guess she
given
busted
day.
out all those special animations for that. Also,
So we
Seki
have- so we're to
uses the wagahe, Wagahai, Wagaho. First person pronoun in the Japanese version, which as I've mentioned, is reference to the book Wagahai wa Neko da Aru. I am a cat.
I am a cat. With the
That
great
was probably
detective, Mr.
flawless
Herlock
pronunciation.
Sholmes.
Pronouncins.
A new location has been added. Sholmes' Sweets. I kind of want to go
Aha,
here, and
and
he's
now
just
I have a
not
chance
here.
for a yogurt.
Oh. Cutscene. Jewelers and pawnbrokers.
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day. Thanks again.
Light up.
This is it. The residence of Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Cool. I don't know that that was worth an animated cutscene, but fine.
I mean, it was a nice cutscene, but I am confused as to why they added it. You know?
So this is where the great detective makes his living. It feels surreal to be here somehow.
I
Boy,
bet there's
he's
a
got
lot of
bullshit
references in
here.
this room.
Is it as described in the stories, Miss Susato?
She's probably having a time.
Susato-san?
Oh, yeah. Many, many famous cases have been solved here in this very room.
Oh, I suppose they must have been, yes. I've never read the story, so it's hard to get quite as excited about it as she seems to be.
The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fog down an unlit London street. Oh, the thrill of it, the romanticism. Can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can't you, Mr. Naruto?
Oh, I suppose I can, yes.
So, if you don't mind,
Please don't flip me.
I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer. Please, don't mind me.
She's obsessed.
I like how when she turned, it just looked like she sort of spun on like an axis.
Just rotated in place. Well, looks like our detective friend isn't home at present. Excuse me, is anyone home? Oh, do we have a visitor?
Oh,
Hello, is it big
I
new
forgot
case for
about
Mr.
her.
Sholmes? Hello.
I hate. She's just the Watson clone, right? Didn't you say
Wait.
basically?
Yeah, she's Watson. Aren't you? Oh, how rude of me. I'll go and make some tea at once. I'm sure it's the same girl. Mr. Sato, did you see the girl who was just here?
Oh yes, isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Sholmes to take on his case.
The King of Bowaria?
King Wilhelm Gottfried Sigmundsson von Ormstein, of course.
Sorry, I'm drawing a
It
blank.
should have been Ormstein.
Forget the
Sorry.
adventures of Herlock Sholmes for a moment and look over there. The tea's brewed, and I have a freshly baked cake as well. Oh my god.
There's no way this bitch brewed good tea in 30 seconds! That's not possible! Tea needs to steep for a few minutes! Sorry, that really tilts me for a second.
I didn't know you were so passionate about tea.
I like to dabble in a little tea now and again. But I do know that you would not get tea that fast. Maybe she makes really bad tea though. Maybe it's essentially just water that you put a tea packet in. And they like just served immediately.
Could be. Maybe she invented good fast tea. Maybe she was already
Maybe she was
making it.
already making.
Hmm.
She's already halfway through the tea. She's like, man, I hope someone shows up. I can see you doing that on the stream.
Good.
Ah, it's you.
I knew it. Suzato-san recognizes her too. Yes, I know, I did. Ah, there you are. taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGilded's trial in the defendant's chamber. That's a hell of a sentence. I've never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Or you, having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London. Oh, yes, it was
I'm
challenging.
not a lawyer.
Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know. Oh.
It tastes like shit.
Thank you. Is tea supposed to look that color?
Shit-ass, weak-ass tea. Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor.
Right, it's a winner. I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. You must be exhausted after your long voyage here, and you have another ticklish trial tomorrow. Oh, and you're to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck.
Did Mr. Sholmes tell you about us by any chance?
Oh, you know Hurley, do you? Hurley? Mr. Sholmes to you, surely.
Mr. Sholmes was a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see.
Was he really?
He
Well, I had no idea.
helped.
Helped. I'm afraid Hurley's having an
Big
errand again
quotes.
today, even though he just returned from overseas. Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Did she deduce all of those things, do you think?
And perhaps more to the point, why is she here in Mr. Sholmes' suite?
Oh, silly me. I haven't introduced myself, have I?
Who are you?
It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson. I live here together with Hurley. Ah, Iris is it? What a lovely name.
Was Iris, like, Watson? Like, Watson's wife or something in the original? Is that a person? Hang on, let me look.
I don't remember who Watson's wife was. Or if she was
His wife may not have been important. Yeah. I know there's Irene Adler, but that doesn't really help us.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Where they could call him Sherlock, she calls him Holmesy.
Mm.
That feels like a weird insult. I don't know why. Holmesy. This is you, by the way.
What's
I
the
don't
matter?
know.
Oh, there was a what in there, sorry.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah,
because
it
it wasn't
skipped
on screen.
automatically, yeah.
I see. Ah, I see. No, wait, this can't be. There's something on the wing. Did you say that your name is Wilson?
What's the matter with Susato-san?
It was
Why is she
Marin.
so flustered all of a sudden?
We've discussed this.
Yes, that's
but here's
right.
the
And what
thing,
are your
Mulligan. That
names?
was like 2 years ago. And I don't remember.
I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a lawyer from Japan.
Oh, sorry. I'm Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotoba. It's wonderful to meet you.
Lovely. Susie and Bruno. Got it. What?
Please do not.
Sorry. And Bruno. There's more to this girl than meets the eye.
Bruno!
I have so many questions for her. I don't know where to start.
She died in between books, that much fanfare. Well, why
rip.
even bother having her then?
Rip.
Yes, and so do I.
Alright, child, what's up? Iris. It was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey. Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful. Thank you so much.
No, not at all. I'm sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming.
Though at the time we did have a rather large gun pointed at us. Like this? Yeah.
Ryu from Streets. Hey, it's me, Ryu. And dirt.
See you in Street Fighter 5, everybody.
And he did. He saw us in Street Fighter 5,
It's
where
true.
he can still jump into Light Fierce. Hopefully they have is water without any ice.
I was drinking
thinking
some
back
water
now.
with ice.
Ooh, wow, spicing it up. What are you, Ken Masters? Thinking back now, you left us with Miss Lestrade in tow. Or you left with Miss Lestrade in tow, didn't you?
Oh yes, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade. Oh, Ginny? Yeah, she's a professional pickpocket. So we found out. It was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that. Are you referring to that trial-disrupting gun-like contraption? Exactly, so I followed her, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should think about fitting a self-destruct mechanism into my inventions. This girl's dangerous. Anyway, I brought Ginny back here after all that, so she could apologize to my trusty technician. Sorry, your technician? Hurley, of course, silly.
Hurley?
Yes, Herlock Sholmes. We live here together. I had no idea the great detective had such an interesting young daughter. Daughter? Not likely. What? I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I? I mean, maybe.
I mean, I literally don't know. You call people you just met by nicknames, that's weird. Be like if someone walked up and was like, "Hey, I'm Peter," and I went, "Okay, Pete."
Yeah,
Like
we're
unprompted,
not
you know?
we're not on that level yet.
Yeah. Well then, what is your relationship with Mr. Sholmes?
Well, I expect you found out that lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive. So the solution is to share the cost with a partner, a roommate. Your roommates?
I hope you don't mind me asking, Iris, but how old are you?
10 at last this year. Well, what of your mother and father?
Dead, probably.
Oh no, they're not around. Oh, I see. I wonder what the story is there.
Oh.
We know part of the story.
Ah, look. We have one of those child prodigies.
The kind
Right.
you hate.
The kind I despise. It's just not a trope I like. I don't like it. I dislike it, even. As long as she doesn't start bench pressing like 600 pounds, maybe I'll get over it.
Maybe. Well, she hasn't done
Maybe.
anything. She hasn't done anything particularly annoying yet.
She made a rocket launcher.
That's not annoying.
Oh yes, there's something I must ask you.
Of course. Go ahead, Susie.
I mean, when I was 10, I was like probably still working out how to put blocks in the right way around in a block toy. Just saying. There's gifted, and then there's I built a rocket launcher in medieval London.
10-year-olds would have been like 4th grade, I think. Math? Does that math track?
7 years old is 1st grade.
Did you say 7th grade? Because it's not that.
That's not that. I mean, maybe for Iris Wilson it is, but
Maybe for Iris Wilson. Super genius.
I was doing stuff in 4th grade.
Is it even 4th grade? I don't
think
remember.
so.
Because you're 18 when you graduate, and you graduate
Right,
12th grade, right?
Yeah, so I took
So
like
you
8 years off of that.
subtract by the transitive property. It's like 4th grade.
Yeah.
Bitch, what do you mean I was doing stuff in 4th grade?
I was writing comics in 4th grade. They weren't good, but I was doing it.
Yeah, that's not building a rocket launcher.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's also not. I didn't know how to put blocks in the correct shape of hole.
I was being hyperbolic. Are you fucking dense?
Maybe. Listen, we can't all be Iris Wilson.
We can't all be super genius Iris Wilson. Building rocket launchers and shit. I mean, to be fair, we don't actually know that the rocket launcher does anything. It might just be a prop.
It might.
Iris E. Coyote, super genius. Got her ass. Listen, so far I'm less offended by her than Mitsuke. Because, like, her thing is being a genius inventor, I guess. Mitsuke just happened to be super strong for no reason, which bothered me more. Because they never explain it. They act like it's just normal. Like, yeah, you know. She, like, deflects bullets with her mind or whatever. You know. Not big a deal.
No. She did get shot. Not immune to
Yeah,
bullets.
after beating up, like, 16 armed guys with a crowbar.
Listen, it's not her fault that
She
they're all
then-
stormtroopers.
And she eventually got shot by the one, like, fucking bullet that pierced through her thick plot armor. I'm a very great fan of the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and
Oh, you have a copy of Ranst magazine?
yes, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on a ship.
Oh, this is so exciting. My stories are being read on the other side of the world. My stories? That's right. Hurley's always solving such amazing cases, you see, and he tells me all about them. They really are quite fascinating. It would be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard them, don't you think?
She's the novelist for a magazine, too. In her spare time.
I mean, she self-publishes, I think.
She doesn't publish Ranst magazine.
You
It's a
don't know
magazine that contains the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Or Sherlock Holmes. Excuse me. And also, either way, it's worse if she publishes an entire magazine on her own, an internationally shipped magazine. Fuck you.
You're just gonna have to get over this, Josh.
I don't have to do anything. Goodness.
Last night, he was telling me all about a new case he just solved on a steamship traveling from a faraway land. So I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before you came.
Steve, I want you to cast your mind back to when you were in 4th grade and writing those comics, and then I want you to picture publishing those comics worldwide.
Yeah, it would have been quite difficult.
To general aplomb.
Oh. Sorry, I hit
Oh.
the button by accident.
It's okay, at least we have the feature or whatever. So you are the author.
Yes, and
It's actually instead of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
I'm gonna call this latest adventure the Speckled Band. The Speckled Band? That's certainly very familiar. Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories, here and there. This time, I had the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble. Oh, that was Mr. Sholmes' first thought as well, actually. Yes, and of course I know that a snake might not be a credible fit for the facts of the case exactly, but... it's a story. Some poetic license is justified to make it more thrilling, I think, don't you?
A man died. A man died and he was my best friend.
This is his
But yeah,
sword.
make it a fucking snake. This is his sword. It's also his soul. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you mean to say, are the stories about Mr. Sholmes that you published in Ranst magazine?
All written by me, yes, on my wonderful and very modern typewriter.
But all the stories I've ever read are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson.
Susato-san's getting more and more worked up.
Same, Susato.
Yes, that's me. I mean, my name really is Wilson.
And I am a doctor of medicine, don't you know? They just hand you out little toddlers walking around. Sorry, I don't know what's come over me. I know exactly what's come over me.
I believe it's spite against me at this point.
It's not against you. It's against the people that keep going, you know what's a good character trope? Super genius. Listen, this is a far-reaching issue. This is the reason I didn't like Jade in Jackie Chan Adventures or whatever that show was called. You remember Adventures of Jackie Chan?
I do remember Jackie Chan Adventures, yes.
Or Jackie Chan Adventures, whatever it was called. Really good show. I hate Jade in it though. because it was the same shit. She would always show up as the Deus Ex Machina. And arguably she should have made things worse every time, but she never did. She wasn't like a super genius or anything though. She was just like lucky mostly. Anyways. But what about the doctor of medicine? Oh, I swear to fucking God.
That's all true too. I am a doctor of medicine. No, at 10 years old. At 10 years old. Well, that's quite incredible. Josh left the call. But, Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman. I'll go on without him. I ain't give a shit. Ah, yes. I did alter the settings slightly for the stories to be more compelling. Oh. Well, it sounds a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow. I suppose it does, yes. Poor Susato-san. She looks like her whole world is just falling apart. About before. Yes, what's on your mind, Bruno? Do tell me. How did you know that I was a lawyer and we just arrived in London? I mean... Yes. Oh, and then we have a Nope, that's wrong voice. Yes, oh, and then we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How did you know all of that? Oh, that's what you mean. Please, tell us how you did it. Explain every detail. Of course, I'd be delighted. Although, there's really no mystery. Now, let's begin. Iris Wilson is proud to present her Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Ah. First of all, I knew already that you were a lawyer, Bruno. After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber. But you also said that we'd only just arrived in London. How did you know that? I observed a passport and travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket. Oh. So I was reasonably confident you must have only just arrived in the country. And on top of that, you accepted a case against that particular prosecutor, telling me you were unaware of London's court affairs. The Reaper of the Bailey? I walked right into that one, didn't I? Then I noticed a red ink stamp on the back of Supes' hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with a suspect, weren't you? Earlier today. Ah. I use those stamps to keep a close eye on comings and goings, you see. I didn't realize. And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So that told me that you had only yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus McGilded, but two of you had already caused to visit a foreign inmate at a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particularly sad expression on your face, so I concluded the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or a relative. Now that means to believe that you must have accepted a new case. I see. But how could you have known that the trial is tomorrow? Well, having barely been home a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved yet another case. It obviously amused him. He told me he'd caught a Japanese man who was bawling and trembling. A Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been... Mr. Natsume. Now, Runa has that fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both come from Japan yourselves, so I put two and two together and decided you must be descending the Japanese man Hurley caught. And there was only one conclusion those facts could lead me to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case. There's a note in the mantelpiece that says the man's trial will be tomorrow. Hurley's always stabbing his notes with a knife, you know. He is silly. Why? And that's all there was to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that was one of my great deductions. Well, was it a winner? Were my deductions correct? They were spot on. That was amazing, Iris. Truly a great deduction. You even managed to discern something of Mr. Sholmes' delivery. Oh well, I was just copying Hurley's style for that. This is really very good news. You could tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please. The case of the Japanese man. So yesterday, Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man, you were saying? Yes. Heard he had just arrived back in London after a sea voyage, but the police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene. Ah, the great detective is a popular man, it seems. Apparently a woman was stabbed on a quiet street somewhere in town. There were witnesses who had seen a short, shifty-looking stooped man running away from the scene. A short, shifty-looking stooped man. Mr. Natsume, beyond any doubt. Soseki-san said he didn't see anyone else on the street at all, but it seems there were witnesses after all. Heard he used his great deductive powers to determine the man's address. It was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifty-looking stooped man shivering in fear. Ugh, Mr. Sholmes' great deduction certainly hit the mark that time. Of course it did. He's a great detective. Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow is too soon for the trial, isn't it? Definitely. We have no time to investigate properly. Hurley says that London is rife with crime. Oh. Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it, apparently. Oh dear. I hadn't realized the situation was so dire. That's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating cases and trying to criminals in court. Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person. You see how that's fucked up, right? That's terrible. That's terrible. I suppose it's the harsh reality of the workings of the world's greatest justice system. I suppose it is. But in that case, I don't hold out much hope for Soseki-san. Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. This has been very informative. Oh, you're most welcome. I've had so much fun. Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is at the moment? As you guessed, we'd like to ask him some questions about this case as well. Ah, well, I expect Hurley is still investigating the scene. Of the case involving Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, Mr. Natsume? Hurley said he was going to the man's lodgings. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there. Iris, do you know where those lodgings are? Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson while you were there? Yes, we know Inspector Gregson. Ah, goody. In that case, give Gregsy this from me, would you? If you do that, I'm sure he'll tell you what you want to know. What is this? A 5-shilling piece and a postcard, it seems. Iris's postcard has been entered into the court record. It reads, "Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem." Gosh, this will make the inspector help us, will it? Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try. Good luck, then. I'm going to return to where in my manuscript, the Speckled Band. I'll be making more special blends of tea, so come back again soon. We'd be delighted. Thank you so much, Iris. Well, Mr. Naruto, it's back to the scene of the crime. So, somewhat dubious that they would exert any influence over the men of Scotland Yard at all, we headed back to the scene with Iris's curious note and one of the world's heaviest silver coins in hand. Is a shilling a particularly heavy silver coin? Me neither. To be continued. Save complete. 19th February, 2:38 p.m. Briar Road. Looks as though the police are still here, carrying on with their investigation. Perfect, so let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Yeah, so let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave us for him. Hey, pal. Oh, I need to present. Excuse me. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? I'm sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. What? For me? From her ladyship? Her ladyship? Give that here, at once! Come on, hand it over. That's for me. Ah, don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? What was that coin exactly? It's a silver crown, obviously. It's a lot more than that. It's, well, it's an appearance fee, that's what it is. An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean... That's right. For the adventures of Herlock shows. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me, every time. Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Avidly? Avidly, sure. Of course, using my name on my say-so does make me look part of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still. I am sorry, Inspector. That must be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know then, eh? Sorry? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem, it says. But obviously it's not a problem. Go on, far away. What do you want to know? Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Ah, the little knife-wielding moustached Japanese fellow. He lives in a right old hovels just over there. Look. On the first floor of that house in the corner where that wreck of a bicycle's propped up. That is nearby indeed. If I remember rightly, the landlord is a Mr. John Garrideb. That's... What? Okay. Right, well, if we see her again, you'll make sure to give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it, you tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector, we will. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship. Okay. Weirdo. Well, at least he told us what we wanted to know before he left. Yes, so then shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings? Definitely. I would like to enter the lodgings. Oh, a new location has been added. The lodgings. What weird position are we going to find Herlock in here? 19th February, Mr. Natsume's lodgings.
There does appear to be an apron over our head.
Oh dear. May I help you? Yes, would this be the residence of Mr. John Garrideb?
She's not on screen anymore, Josh.
Yeah, she's not here anymore. I'm pretty sure we're done with her for a bit. Does that help you? Okay. Indeed it would, sir. And who may I say is calling?
Ah, my mic was muted.
Ah.
I was watching the stream until she was gone.
I assume that's what it
My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Sosuke Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here. You'd very much like to ask him some questions about our client.
One moment, please. I shall convey this message to Mr. Garrideb. A fucking name. Garrideb is like a fucking anagram of something, right? Garrideb is not a real name. Did you see that, Miss Susato? That was a real-life English maid. We saw one in court yesterday.
Yeah? She was on the jury for, like, the whole time.
Yeah.
As I understand it, anyone of standing in English society employs a number of household staff.
Why does whoever this have a straight-up cannon in their home? With an apron draped over it?
Well, he was in the you can tell by the uniform.
Oh yeah, there's also a uniform and
Where
a
else?
sword back there, true.
Where else do you dry your aprons if not
If not on the barrel of a cannon.
Yeah. But that was the first time I've ever met one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better.
It certainly feels like we've arrived now, doesn't it? I didn't have an opportunity to drink.
Yeah, I'm
of it
back,
for a
Momo
bit.
guy. Back, baby. I was waiting until the offending child was gone.
Would it like?
And now she is.
Would it be better
All right.
if she were like 16?
Yes. They
10
always just like way overshoot the child prodigies. They're like, yeah, she invented a fucking rocket launcher. She's a medical doctor. I don't know. She's like what, 10? She can't be more than like 10 years old.
Impossible. Yeah, I don't know.
Garadeb. It sounds
It's
weird.
a weird name.
It sounds like a fake name.
His first name
Maybe
is
it
John.
is.
That's why I was thinking it would be something, but
John.
like at a glance, I was thinking maybe like barricade or something, but there's a G in there that complicates it.
Hmm.
I don't know. Well, when we
Very
see him, maybe it'll be
interesting.
more obvious.
Right? But yeah, no. I'm back. Oh, and yes, most old reboots do suck. Ty- Typically, anyways. I find a lot of them to be lackluster. So, yeah, anyways. We need only to meet a butler, and the experience will be complete.
Well, I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment.
Netflix is on your list of companies to
Mr.
avoid.
Count,
Why is
we'll
that?
see you now. This way. Oh my god.
Oh. Isn't that guy from Guilty Gear?
It's Slayer. I don't know. Do you want to be John Garrideb?
Yeah, sure, why not?
He's a landlord, so just sound like a shithead.
And also, I was gonna come back. I was gonna come back earlier because my man, fucking Gregson, was on screen, and then I saw how he was talking about the child, and I got mad again.
He's a crescent moon. He sure is.
He is just literally a crescent moon, isn't he?
She's
kind of like the sun.
Yeah, I mean,
guess
that's
she's
like that's kind
round?
of a stretch.
It's not a stretch.
Yeah,
Good day to you, John Garrett at your service.
excellent.
Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruto. He's a defense lawyer. No, excuse me not getting up. Took a shot in the knee a few years back in the Battle of my water, don't you know? Earned the medal for my pain, but had to withdraw from service. Handed over the reins to the up-and-comers.
So he's a retired soldier. You don't. I could have told you that by looking at his room.
It's a hell of a job getting up and down stairs now, I tend to. Don't get out too much, as you command.
Yes, it's quite a climb here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs.
You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruto.
Do you think so?
Well, Mr. Garrett, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal. Well, it was nothing. The medal's just a photo, really. Wouldn't like it to offend the General, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joe, and let these good people see it properly? Joe, fetch the... Ah! Dastard old woman, be careful!
Oh, dear me, I do beg your pardon, sir.
You jolly nearly took the skin off my hands.
I shall be more careful, sir.
So anyway, you have it, living a quiet life now.
Yes, I see.
If they think an episode about the Magic School Bus reboot, all about the poop cycle. What? Pardon?
A lot going on.
What are they
there.
doing? It's a heck of a sentence. Huh. Now then, I hear that you want to know about the chap out downstairs. Is that right?
Yeah, I would love to.
We'd be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us. Only too pleased, naturally. Especially if it helps to keep things PC and bloody.
What are you doing?
I wouldn't advise that. I wouldn't advise that one, guy.
Are you
We
sure?
forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were.
Oh, is it?
He even had some famous detective poking around, you know, in this old house, would you believe? Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea. All that detective business. Oh, but you have a copy of Ranced magazine here, so... No.
Anyway, chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak. So he's in Sosuke-san's room.
It's a valley nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's stretching its curtains now. I don't like all this fuss. It's jolly unsettling.
About Mr. Natsume.
About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garrett. Please, do tell us.
Oh yeah, it's the Japanese shop. Only been lodging here for a week.
Oh, just 1 week. So
We
we
made
moved here
episodes of
very
Kids Science Show
recently,
about poop. And ends with the class singing a parody of Circle of Life. That's amazing.
then.
That sounds awesome.
Listen, the digestive tract is science.
Circle of Life.
Circle of shite. And it leaves us all. God damn it. I'm not happy with myself.
Everybody poops.
That's true.
Listen, poop will never not make me laugh in some capacity. I'm not mature enough
do
for
it.
that. I left the stream for 15 minutes by being mad about a fictional child. So I mean, you know, there you have it. About poop. Damn it! I wish that wasn't so funny to me. One of these days. I have 2 larges, Master Time. 1 of ground floor, the one is below. The first floor room became there a week ago. You see the That's it, also. Do be careful.
Oh, my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know my opinion, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him.
Oh, why?
Because he's a
Why do they call it ad when it's
foreigner.
supposed to make me spend?
They seem to
On
have the most
Netflix? I didn't think
nervous
Netflix
disposition.
had ads.
I was shaking and looking over his shoulder. The man had
What was
shady
an ad
written across
for,
his
Netflix
sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. And I said to myself, Joan, that man has trouble. Sooner or later, he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong.
Untoward?
I'm rarely wrong about anything. We won't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure.
So, a bold statement, I'm rarely wrong about anything.
The kind of statement that only somebody who's definitely wrong a lot of the time would believe. I say, turning around pointedly.
Got him.
Right.
Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all?
Yes, oh yes, indeed there was. And she's dying to tell us. Had you noticed anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume? Or lodger, comma, Mr. Natsume? Oh my word, yes, the man was shadier than an orchard. Okay.
cold like the taste of this refreshing soda? I say, unscrewing the cap on my Dr. Pepper. Mmm. Tastes like Keurig's own Dr. Pepper Canada Dry Ginger Ale. ADPCD. I miss Swissy being on this stream. I mean, I guess it was technically the other Ace Attorney. I guess because the other Ace Attorney game. Yeah, listen, Swissy knows
I know
the
better than
genius
to
of...
encourage you.
Swissy knows the genius of KDPCD. Swissy knows, and that's why Swissy will make millions.
Could you elaborate?
Well, take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books it is, more than anyone could ever read. He never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He's been here a week. He just trots off to that old bookshop every day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house is going to bed, too. Oh, I see. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night, but I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. Now, listen.
Slam.
Now listen. Let's not start throwing around accusations about the time people go to sleep, okay? Ah.
Could you clarify something, I wonder?
What, pray?
How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine?
Oh!
I had understood that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house. Is that correct?
Yes, right, yes. They were below us on the first floor on street level.
Then, how is it you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example. Even the times they go to bed.
Good grief, friend. Be more careful, woman.
My goodness, sir. I'm terribly sorry, sir. Something doesn't add up here. Anyway. It seems the incident took place at around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time?
The window?
Yeah, the window. Why is there
Yes,
a bunch
we
of
noticed the window
exploded
over there.
fucking crockery over there?
That whole wall over there is just kind of jazzed up, huh?
Yeah, they really fucked it. There appears to be
Interesting.
stuff leaking out of one of the jars. Gross. I also
Anyways.
just noticed the fucking tank shells on the fireplace back there.
Yes.
I have concerns.
Maybe he like rigged up his cannon to fire those.
Like you do.
They're probably inert.
Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement, just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby?
11 o'clock is dinner time in the Garden household, so I'm afraid I do not remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan?
No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road. Oh, I see.
Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then?
Such as?
Anything? Nope. Sorry, choked.
Anything. At all. Even
Choked,
if
and
it
it just
seems
happened to seem
unrelated.
like I was reading your line.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes, was there something then?
it's nothing particularly significant, but For the love of God, Joan, what are you doing?
Oh, dearie me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir.
Be more careful, woman.
Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Narrow Hollow. Oh, yes. I love that he just decides it's not worth it. I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all. Oh, really? Mr. Garrett? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, okay.
That's what I was saying. It was just... Joan, dash it all, what is the matter with you, woman?
Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened.
Yes, what? Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan.
That's right, Mr. Garrett. Huh. What is the matter with these two?
Some weird-ass dudes.
It sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening incident. But what?
I wish I knew. Mr. Natsume's room. Could you tell us which floors Mr. Natsume's room is on?
Why, certainly. Just on the first floors.
Yeah, sure.
Like McDonkeys. And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there, even as we speak.
Yes, told me that's his name. And asked to look at the matters. I gave him the key.
No.
Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services?
No, he lied. That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we also had a look around? In Mr. Natsume's room, I mean.
Don't see why not. Let's just down one flight of stairs.
Who knows if we'll find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we?
Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more.
Really quick, I would like to examine the room, because there's some shit in here. What's this about? Is this not important?
Look at that enormous screen. It must have been put there deliberately, surely.
Yes, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder?
I'm going to have a very quick look. Just a little peek.
Maybe let's not, Miss Susato. I think the maid is going to head us off with a cup of tea. Okay, so whatever's back there is definitely important, but we're not ready to see it yet, I guess. Look at this crockery on display here. It's rather unusual, isn't it?
Look at this crockery on display here. That's really good. I should remember that phrase for later. Look at this crockery on display. It's a good thing to say when you're upset with like just general goings on in an area. You hit some like a traffic jam. You're just like, look at this crockery on display.
It's a good sentence.
Oh my. A genuine London dresser. Isn't it delightful? Although the shelves seem to be broken, the crockery is... Oh dear, it's in pieces.
It really is. The word cracked wouldn't do that Chinaware justice.
Ah, I wonder. Perhaps the cannon was fired at it.
Yes, probably something like that, but let's not delve too deeply here.
Yeah, probably that. Yeah. Almost certainly cannon fire, yeah.
Down to Mr. Natsume's room. There's cats. Oh, there's a really big cat. Look at the size of that cat. There's a real chonker over there. 19 February, Mr. Natsume's room. What? Just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty in here. Suppose the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. And probably
guess.
also the live cat, if I had to guess.
I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life.
No, me neither. It's so dark in here, too.
It's...
Why is the window bricked over?
Is that the window over there?
Well, it was the window, I think, yes, once upon a time. But for some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives.
By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you?
No, that's true, but according to what Mr. Garrett had told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Can we turn to the right? Jesus Christ, this place is dirty. I'm gonna click on the cat. Kitty.
No.
Meow. Aw. Oh, good stretchies animations. Okay, bye, kitty.
Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master's away.
I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It was a tricolor Mikke, was it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain?
Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan.
That's made me feel homesick now.
Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also
What are
take
you, a
like 3 months
bitch?
to get here.
And we spent 2 weeks of it just going to Shanghai.
It's crazy. Am I supposed to see Mr. Sholmes in here somewhere?
I just click on stuff. He's probably behind a stack of books or something
There appears to be
stupid.
some sort of meter on the wall here. It looks very robust. I wonder what it's for. There's a slot for inserting coins here, too. I'm sure it's in your small book.
Ah, I believe that is a gas meter, Mr. Naruto.
A gas meter?
Have they mocapped a real cat? What? I mean, maybe. Would they need to?
Maybe.
Good luck getting a cat into a mocap suit and then getting it to do what you want.
I mean, yeah, I think if you get the first part, you just have to wait out the second part.
Yes, it seems there's piped gas in the district which consumers pay for by putting coins in the meter.
So if we were to put a coin in the slot...
That would be enough gas to use the lights and the gas fire for the whole night.
So if you're too poor to have a coin, you'd have to spend the night in the dark and freezing cold?
That's right. It's called capitalism, as would a rich man who only carried crisp white notes.
Ugh, London is a scary place.
I love the dystopian pay for your gas as you go with a coin.
Look at all those books stacked up there. They almost reached the ceiling.
They're all works of English literature, and they all smell so musty.
With this volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you?
No, what a dreamy idea.
A bad dream, maybe. For me, at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again.
Ah, so reading is an experience that comes once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us.
I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. Nor did I. What's with the weird bag? I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. Oh, but it looks
They
so
can't
obvious,
click on the
though.
bag. It's not. The desk is, though.
Let's
The desk
over here.
area.
What's over here?
That desk seems to be wedged into a crevasse in between the mountains of books on either side.
I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well.
Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a secondhand bookshop. Your books.
My books? Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it, and the date of purchase. 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident.
That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books.
The secondhand book receipt has been entered into the court record.
Was real? Still real? Yeah, it sounds real.
I'll take a quick peek at that bad boy. What's it say? Customer name, Mr.
I mean, we still
Natsure.
pay for gas now.
The sum
It's
of
just
two
you,
yeah, it's just like a monthly
you
bill.
don't shove a
rather than
coin
you
in the
shove
wall.
a coin in the wall every time you need it. The sum of 2 shillings tendered in receipt of a picture of Monsieur Lecoq, a meal for Gaboriau, and Canterbury yearnings. Me too. Okay, none of that's important. None of that's important. Paper. Look at all these balls of paper on the floor.
Please.
There are notes scrawled all over them, in English. It looks like the waste paper basket is so full they've just fallen out.
I think Mr. Natsume must have been deeply immersed in his research, don't you?
Or deeply averse to tidying up his mess.
I wouldn't like to speculate which is closer to the truth.
Okay, none of that's important. Lucky cat.
Oh look, it's a beckoning cat from home.
It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Maneki Neko all the way from Japan with him.
I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruto. Are you forgetting the enormous Dharma doll that you brought in your
what?
luggage?
Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Just gonna Google
Also, how did
something
he have
really quick.
luggage? I thought he was the luggage.
Do you not know what the Daruma doll is?
I just want to know how big it is.
Well,
This is what I
they
thought it
vary in
was.
sizes.
Yes, one of these bitches.
Yeah, so it's implying, but I didn't know that he had independent luggage. I thought she was gonna make a joke about him being brought over in, you know,
Yeah, it
in
must be.
Kazuma's
I'm assuming that
luggage or
Kazuma
whatever.
shoved Ryunosuke's luggage in something.
Yeah, he opens one of his suitcases. There's just a smaller suitcase in it.
Don't worry about what's in that
Well,
one. It's a third smaller suitcase.
It's not important.
Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and this cat is sure to beckon him good luck to him.
It's not doing a very good job so far, is it?
You mustn't say such things.
I didn't say a word. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? There's nothing else to really click on here. Not that I saw, anyway. But,
There he is.
excuse me? Sir? Was he just waiting for me to turn that way so he could fucking...
Ah! Look, Mr. Naruto.
Is the Pokemon? Yeah,
there he is.
Darumaka or whatever his name is.
Yeah. Where did he
Darmatan.
appear
That's
from?
what it is. Darmatan.
He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope he won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes.
Yeah. You two. Good day. Now let me see. Where was it that we met?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Buria.
Yes, of course, the Buria. And let me see. What happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Asugi. He died, tragically. But you were a great help to us. I say with the heaviest air quotes I can make. Yes, but of course, that case of Mr. Asugi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it?
Oh, Darmok is the pre-evolution.
Yeah.
Nice.
Darmanitan is the big monkey.
Darmanitan, yeah.
Big monkey.
Oh,
Monkey.
Well,
There's also a
you
snow
seem
one
to
now.
remember something of it, at least.
what an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes.
That one got me.
This is Mr.
Oh, no, my dear madam. Hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic.
They are not.
Miss Naruhodo. And Mr. Susato.
I mean, closer than I expected.
Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I lose the first round. Okay.
Sherlock Sholmes, that was my nickname in high school.
Was it? I feel like I would remember that.
What a strange nickname to have.
In truth, I hope to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So they apprehended Soseki-san in that short an amount of time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little.
Randy Butternubs.
I don't want to hear about how randy your butternubs are. I'm sorry. You ever say something and then just immediately regret it? Oh, that's right, Boko has never known regret. It's a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls that can distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet.
I've never not said anything that I haven't regretted
Please.
instantly.
Mood.
Sam.
Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully. He means Iris, I suppose.
Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned.
Well, too bad. I don't remember anything about it. Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I should be only too pleased, and this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. Mr. Natsume's arrest. We know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines.
But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little?
I'm sorry, Mr. Zato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean.
He did say that in Study in Scarlet, the first Sherlock story.
Ah.
What?
I can't believe he was looking Susato-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you I am not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you were under some misapprehension. Oh, how? I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of the crime. But that doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made me the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. Ah, a man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. Sherlock's voice hurts me. I need a drink real
And yet
quick.
you will do it. He compared his mind to an addict with limited space, so he chooses to forget what he considers unimportant information. I wish I could choose, instead of just forgetting
Right.
things that are usually important.
On speaking with the proprietor, I immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I just need to do less gravelly so that I don't want to fucking die in the next 30 minutes. I believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you don't think that Mr. Natsume is the culprit, then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliophilia. Bibliophilia? Sure. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no.
Oh dear.
Okay. How about the landlord? What's up with him? Ah, tell me. Have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garrett, a retired military man.
It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services.
Sherlock is canonically a friend. Oh, right. He chose to forget the Earth was round after Watson told
Round
him.
after Watson told. That's not important to me, you see, Watson.
I'll never
You
need that
dumb
information
idiot.
in my life, you fucking fool.
Why would I ever need to know the Earth is round?
And it was the first time I ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. Ah, that's fun.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid.
Yes, I read as much in my Great British Primer.
And so, conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing? Sorry? Use words, please. Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family.
Goodness, how extraordinary.
As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garridib. Oh? Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstance of this case, I'm as yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. I mean, he's hiding something, clearly. Or he's not hiding something, but his maid definitely is. The dingy room. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man who's not just to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later.
Listen. Alright.
Alright.
Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one.
Ah, but sooner or later, as I said.
But he will!
But he will. Mark my words.
What a wild claim.
I don't believe that's the issue here.
About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is...
someone put bricks in it!
Are your eyes quite working? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks. It's been completely bricked with blocks. Ah, I see. As to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Window tax? What's that?
Window tax! Surely, not a tax on windows.
Precisely that.
Oh, you know it.
Oh my god.
Oh, hell yeah. I love old taxes. They'd be like just taxing people for random shit. Oh, it's so good.
Oh
Shameful.
my goodness.
Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. What? Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps rapidly closed windows up. While the rich opened windows here, there, and everywhere. In an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. Imagine rich people paying taxes to like get in people's good graces. Imagine that.
Right? Imagine. Imagine if you will.
How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light.
No, it's
Indeed.
okay. They can pay
Disease-
for gas lights.
Disease was rife as a result. So some 40 years ago or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. Oh no, another clue from Olagai. But its legacy remains, as you can see.
Don't look into it.
Don't do it.
Are you doing it?
It was abolished in 1851.
So,
Or-
yeah,
or-
1890.
Which is still outside of the timeline for the Japanese man.
Well,
being
he said
here, but
40 or so. He
Yeah,
was, like,
exactly.
vague on that.
Could be, yeah.
I mean, it's not as egregious.
But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. Suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend, right? Stipend? I've never said this word out loud before.
Stipend, yeah.
For living here in London
Stipend.
isn't very generous, perhaps. Would appear so. I've done a little digging and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price.
Because the room is so awful, I should think.
Apparently Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here, a matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remembered that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? Hey, got it correct. I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well, then I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too. You're welcome, Mologai. I'm dying. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate?
I have no fucking clue.
Yes, that
What do you
was
think
my
I am, a
initial
detective?
intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to have seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Gasp. And one more thing.
Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us.
I cannot say. God. I inhaled and it got worse. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is a relative
F.
to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Garrett it is? Mr. Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case.
Mr. Naruhodo. As yet, our investigations have uncovered nothing that could establish Mr. Natsume's innocence.
No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garrett's secret. As remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be irrelevant or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay, bye. A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. Let's go find out what weird shit he's got in his room.
We just have to trick him out of his room. Let's pretend there's a yard sale downstairs. No one can resist yard sales.
No one resists yard sale. 19th February, Mr. Garrett of his room.
I forgot
people
this is
who-
me for a second.
People whose voices don't hurt me.
Oh, you fucking. Tell me, what a detective chap, I forget his name, was doing hard at work down there. Mr. Herlock Sholmes?
My brain really doesn't like the name Herlock Sholmes for reasons I can't quite figure out.
I mean, it's fair, because it's stupid. It's a dumb name.
Yes, we get back, pal. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid.
I mean, Sherlock Holmes is not a much better name, but... Well,
No,
Mr.
not really.
Sholmes is in his element down there.
Jolly good, pal. Another cup of tea, if you please, sir.
Are you sure?
Now then, why don't you tell me for the umpteenth time, woman, will you watch what your Polly will do it?
I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir.
Ah, yes, of course. Quite really rude of me, but afraid I have to ask you to take your leave, if you'd be so kind.
Oh, yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all your assistance.
Not at all, not at all. Very much glad to talk with you and Porter, such like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out.
According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garrett is hiding something. Since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. I mean, something on the left side of the room has changed.
Oh. Yeah, there's a Herlock now.
I saw the bag, I'm like, what's going on over there? And,
Also, you meant the right side of the room.
I did. Ah! What's he doing over there? How'd you get over there? How'd you get over there without us noticing?
Mr. Sholmes.
Aha, we meet again, my dear fellows.
What gracious! Why did you sneak in here?
Sherlock Holmes, sir, at your service. Whatever were you doing over by the window? I am given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madam. And sadly cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here.
It's all Maurice LeBlanc's fault. He came up with Herlock Sholmes.
I
It all
love the
comes
single
back
large
to the
sweat
French.
drop.
Right? It's very big. Well,
Keeping an eye to one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. Ah, and one other thing, Mr. Naruto. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about... Is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Yes,
Do you
yes,
mean
yes.
Mr. Sholmes?
There is a mighty secret in this modest room. May I see even the most trivial of trifles? I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruto. I think so. There's just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark. Yes, 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 my favorite part of the game. Mr. Garridan, though it would seem you are a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first-rate. Wow. Damn. I'm afraid, sir, that it is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I have been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements.
not beg your pardon.
The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care.
Huh?
And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. Cat came in here and broke a bunch of shit.
The cat?
The cat.
The cat?
The cat.
Mr. Naruto, look!
The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Sholmes' conclusions are both spot on.
How? How could you possibly?
How can I possibly know, you mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. Okay.
What? Also what?
Sure. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. The Great Deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Nature of the beast. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see. Yeah, that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? Aha. Ah, for a man with a military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Gerda, leads us directly to the answer.
It's a lion.
The true nature of the beast is that run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. Yet though an army man, you appear unimposing at best. The fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts.
What is this piffer, I ask you?
In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you tried to keep in this very house. There's a giant. You see the giant handprint on his face just now?
Right? Yeah. Did he get slapped or something?
And living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, and as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it's plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is? Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. For protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Ah! Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying lion, Mr. Garridib, at Batty's Circus, a traveling show currently sojourning in a nearby park. I have observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe.
Well, certainly did not.
I believe I have made my point. A wrong one, but
I
I
made a bad point.
Fearsome beast with runamuck in this room was an Indian lion. I don't think lions live in India. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. I mean, maybe.
They will have instantly trained it.
A rampaging Asiatic lion. Up topic 2, Aftermath. Now, Mr. Garridib, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. His name is a
Adventure of
reference...
the Three Garridibs.
The Three Garridibs.
Huh.
There were 3 fuckers with that name? Why? Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage.
Oh, such man. I simply...
Like, I knew there would be something on the other side of his face when he was showed to us in this perspective. But what now must we ask ourselves is the true cause of this pain? We only need to follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. It is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. Ah. For cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating effect on the financial circumstances of your household. You don't feed a lion tea, Sherlock. What are you on about? So you had no choice but to
Or
let it go.
potatoes. Yes, whatever.
Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? Aftermath of it can be clearly seen by the observing the carpet.
Ah, it was a
over
candle.
there. Ah, okay. Very expensive woolen carpet, if I am not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? Ah. This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. The wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. As to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. What? Ah. There was no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. Was it or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman, if they have no bread, let them eat cake? It wasn't, but fine.
Excuse.
It explicitly
What was,
wasn't. Oh, I thought that was not a thing she actually said.
Well, it's taken out of context, but
Ah, gotcha.
that, like, there was more to that quote, obviously,
Right.
but yeah, and it also may have just been a rumor in the first place, but
Right.
yes,
Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact. Whatever do you mean?
all.
Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There's only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. The teeth marks on the carpet are a perfect match with those of a
Excuse
lion
me?
I once saw in India.
No, what? They couldn't be, because they're not teeth marks.
No. None of that. Shame on you.
Herlock
Carpet
is
gnawed on by a
incredibly
starving lion.
stupid.
His ability to take in information is incredible, but his ability to put it together in a way that makes sense is just the worst. Thus concludes Herlock Jim's great deduction of this beastly puzzle. Now it was
Well,
the cat. The cat came out here. Came in here and
Their faces. What's the matter with you, bro? You're pouring scalding hot tea over me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Garrett. I'm afraid I didn't notice.
So his logical reasoning is always sound. It's just that every statement he says is false.
It's
The
just
flow of his
wrong.
arguments are always correct. Like, what he's saying is logical, but it is untrue because every statement is false.
It's all stupid. My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times, too. Oh. Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Naruto. What is it? Again. Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size? Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well?
But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garrett and his maid would have been hurt, or worse.
Ah, that's where you are stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon. I thought you said they sold the lion to the circus. I have approximate knowledge of many.
knowledge of anything.
Ah, I love that's one of my favorite bits from like a thing.
Yeah.
Wow, how did you
knowledge of
almost
many
know where I
things.
was?
What does he call Finn again? Jim or something like that? He like almost gets his name right. I think it's like Jim the human or something. Cause he doesn't know that his name is Finn.
Right.
He almost knows what his name is.
And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing.
He calls him Frank, and then later calls
Is
him
it?
Jim.
Oh, it's Frank. He calls him Frank and Jim. Frank the human, Jim the human. Be a good D&D item somehow. It's like it gives you the answer to something, but it's probably not correct.
It's like
close.
70. It's like 75% of the way there.
I read this line also.
Oh, sorry.
But I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea.
Ah, my dear Mr. Sato, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they're infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea.
Oh, what a glorious notion. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again.
I had a feeling that was coming.
A slight massage, that's all Mr. Film's deductions need. You can do it.
Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. Yeah.
And then Sholmes hits him with the, look down at your wrists. He looks down, they're handcuffed.
Like, how did you... Why? At least that's what I want to believe. Let us start again from the beginning of Sherlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Rampaging Asiatic lion. Shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? Ah, for a man with a military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid.
Hey,
Your furtive glance, Mr. Gerda, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. Nope. I really didn't see the lion thing coming.
No, but if you observe Mr. Garrett's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did indeed run amok here in this room.
Yeah, something with a very fierce nature.
But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India.
So what was it then?
We must follow Mr. Garrett's gaze. That will lead us to the true answer.
Let's look around.
it's behind the, yeah.
Ooh, what's that?
What is that a photo of?
It's him carrying something.
It's
That's something.
It's him with a big, well,
out.
if you click on it, it'll probably let us see it closer. It's a baby.
What's this photograph?
Oh no, it's his bride.
Right?
Is it the maid?
I think so, yeah.
Huh.
It appears to be from Mr. Garrett's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he?
He does, but you can't make out his bride.
No, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face.
I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply there.
Well, it's definitely the bride.
take that.
Is the beast.
Yep.
It's
Revealed
a
by that
bride.
newlywed bride. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruto. No other explanation could possibly fit. Certainly not an
I love
Asiatic
when he just
lion.
lies. That would be ridiculous. An Asiatic lion.
Yes, this frame print pictures your wife, Mr. Garrideb. And while we lament the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. Okay. Sure.
Sorry, that really got me. I need to describe something like that later at some point in my life. Like, your mighty arms and the considerable horsepower they go to. Sorry.
Indeed, surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast. Honored might be stretching a point. Too late. The fact remains that the beast which so clearly savaged this room was your wife, Mr. Garrideb. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? madam! Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it's plain to me with one glance at your direction. It is? Your dress pocket gives a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. No, that's wild.
No. That poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself.
Well, I don't know about fragile.
Oh dear. Anyway, Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of Miss Scaradib anywhere.
Are you sure?
Maybe get close to it. I'm gonna look at her hands and see if I can find that ring that's in that picture. A clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Miss Scaradib's wife could be. Ring. There it is. Found it.
Is she pretending to be his maid so they seem like they're higher status or something?
She's wearing a very large ring. Look. It wasn't a cat. It was his wife that ruined this place.
Oh yes, a sunflower design with some rather nice embellishments. And it's on the ring finger of her left hand, which means... it's surely a wedding ring.
Looks like it's on there for life, too. I can't imagine it would slide off a finger that size.
Wow, okay.
That's something to think, Mr. Naruto, not say. You know, Mr. Garadib's wife had in the photograph. Sorry. God, I'm just falling apart.
Oops.
This is stupid. In the photograph, had a ring very much like this one. It was a rather large. It was a large sunflower.
Really? You have a great memory for these things, as do I, the player. Sunflower, it's quite a coincidence that they have the same ring, isn't it? Yes, coincidence.
Take that!
Take that! Wedding ring. Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Ah! Indeed it does. That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown in the hand of Mr. Garadib's bride in the photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. Gasp. No. You are Mr. Garadib's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garadib herself. Oh my word. Okay.
Alright.
And?
You agreed to my sun-moon theory. No, I think that's... I agree. I think that's what they were definitely going for.
Yeah, I think so, because she's got like
Because that's the
puffs,
classic
too.
pose for that design, too. With
Oh,
the
yeah,
sun's
you're
like
right.
facing forward and the moon is sideways.
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmised, this is my wife, yes, my Joan. Rather let herself go, as you might say, but she was a...
It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms.
It's 'cause
I
his
would
wife
assume,
eats too much,
therefore,
I'm
you
sure.
have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct?
It's not right, I tell you. I'm second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ.
Yes, here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly. You mean Mr. Garadib has his wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garadib?
Only in company, obviously. But listen here, this must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please.
Nature of the beast. The raging wife of Mr. Garadib. Sure.
Sure.
Feels a little rude, but fine.
Well, she does
Ah,
keep
Mr. Garrett.
scolding him with tea.
It is plain and clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. I should hope so. Indeed, in that bly, the distress losses cause you veritable tangible blah, blah.
I also hate it, Mulligan.
Yeah,
It
it's
upsets
really
me
bad.
greatly. Because
Yeah,
that
wait,
means
so-
he's just getting like sop and he's just getting like weird tobacco chunks in there.
Terrible.
Ugh. Yeah.
I don't think we've ever seen him drink the tea. Mr. Sholmes is quite something.
True.
He's still calling Mrs. Garrett's wife a beast.
Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable.
But Mrs. Garrett is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he?
Oh, how true. So perhaps that supporting arm that seems to be propping up his head has some other significance then.
According to Mr. Sholmes, Garrett's pain is tangible, though. What could that pose of his really signify? Well, let me look at the opposite side
The
of his
slap.
fucking face with the fucking slapped cheek. No, I didn't mean to click on it. Fuck. Oh my, look at that bright red mark.
Gosh, that's quite something. And is clearly made by somebody's hand.
Yes, Mr. Garrett has been slapped on the face, it seems. Hard.
I've never seen such a clearly defined mark. Whoever could have done such a thing?
Well, there's a very
Yeah,
limited
it
number
is
of
a mystery.
candidates, I'd say.
Take that!
Take that! Slapped cheek. Your head weighs heavily on your shoulders. The pain you feel is being revealed by that slapped cheek. And of course, the delivery of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade was you, Madam Joan Garridib. Oh, yes. You have been desperate to hide that slap mark on your cheek, sir.
How the blazes? How did you work it out, man?
Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. Keep your other side from view. Now let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Madame Garrett to fly into a rage. And we need
Wait,
only
so
follow
these
the
are the
direction of your
witnesses,
gaze
then?
to find the answer. Yep.
Right? Because they said it was a man and his wife.
Ah, yeah, you're right. Yes, it is this pile of bills. Nope.
Didn't Mr. Sholmes say all the bills were for lion fodder?
Yes, but now we've established that the lion never existed, which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Garrett's wife.
Mr. Naruto, she's a person, not a thing.
Yes, well, she's also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap around the face. One so hard it left a perfect hand mark, in fact.
Yes, why would a woman hit her husband with such force, I wonder?
It's a mystery. What? Okay.
I
I'd
just
love to know the answer to that
Don't worry,
question.
man.
Oh, what's this bad boy? Bookmark? Oh.
Ah.
Ah, someone must be reading this book at the moment. There's a bookmark here, look.
Creamy peas.
Mr. Garrett,
Hey, Izzy.
Mr.
Hey,
Garrett is clearly an avid reader.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark.
Oh, no, it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary.
Uh-oh. And look next to the signature here.
Lip marks made with lipstick.
Uh-oh.
With someone's lips, presumably. Oh, what a passionate romantic gesture.
Don't get any ideas, Susato-san.
Oh dear, I'm sorry.
So this bookmark is actually a love note, then. Ah, so we did have to observe that one first.
Take that!
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't it just me, or does he sound very vaguely Scottish when he yells, "Take that"?
A little bit. Yes, it is this love note that
very
has given
strange.
rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here? Gah!
Got him.
Man, I don't know the bloody woman.
You don't know her?
That note wasn't written to me. It was just
Isn't
in the
his
book.
name-
I don't know how it got there.
Isn't his name John?
John Garridim? Yeah.
It was just in there, you say?
That's right. That's why I'm tired.
A likely story.
Now listen here, Joe. No thing. I explained at the time. I want to work at the second-hand place. That note must have already been in there.
So the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean?
That's right. That's what I've been saying.
A likely story.
For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you've forgotten, is John.
A likely story.
You question my name now?
And there we have it.
Oh my God.
Rouse the suspicions of the female heart and you unleash a beast with a most ferocious bite.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
I kind of want him to. I kind of want her to deck him too. That would be funny. Now, in a fit of
It would be
rage, the
very
ferocious
funny.
beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? You ate the carpet. The aftermath can be clearly seen from the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? It's the fucking candle. Ah. This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes.
But surely, Mrs. Garridim.
I said it as a joke. I was joking.
Oh. Ooh, the curse of prophecy. Oh man.
No.
This is gonna be an impossible line read.
Just try not to think about it.
But surely, Mrs. I thought about it. They
Oh.
knew.
They knew.
Oh. Oh boy.
Oh no.
But surely Mrs. Garrett didn't eat the carpet.
No, of course not. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt. The state of disarray that this room is in is a result of her wild temper.
No, that's true. So this is the last part of Mr. Shum's deduction that we need to fix. We need to only follow Miss Garritim's gaze, and that will tell us the real answer.
Alright, let's see what we can see.
Yes! They...
Can I turn?
What's the candelabra? Clearly. Right?
Why is it the car?
You see that in the pamphlet.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't notice that, yeah. I mean, the pamphlet I don't think is anything, it's just a circus handbill.
It's
I was
just
gonna
a
click on that
handbill, yeah.
candle, but I'm gonna go with, yeah, it's probably this. Take that!
Take that!
Take that! Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we only need to look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow, and of course the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. It's... She wouldn't have eaten the carpet, that's ridiculous. As the remains of the ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible.
Devoured by flames, that
Yeah, the
is.
scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away. Good.
Oh,
Source marks.
It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Miss Garrett's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from the holder. Are you saying she slapped her husband with explosive force? Slapped him so hard it knocked
broke
over
all
a candle
the
and
crockery.
destroyed their shelves.
Holy shit!
The power
My
of
God.
this woman.
This woman is an eldritch being.
And in seconds, the carpet was alight and the whole corner of the room in flames.
Yes,
The most ferocious beast in this world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow, so you see there is but one conclusion here. After the sparks of a marital discord flew, this room was a scene of a fire.
Mr. Soames, sir. I salute you!
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's dead.
Aw. She caught him.
I like how much effort they put into her cheek physics.
Yeah, it's very good. Cheek jiggle, very important. Deduction complete. Elementary.
It's these acid long winters, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of the fire.
Alright, let's, we'll give this a save. How do I save?
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
a
remember.
little past. Got a little caught up in that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to quit midway through the deduction.
Right.
Alright,
And
yeah.
I was laughing uproariously at she didn't eat the carpet.
Surely she didn't eat the carpet. Stupid. Alright, have a good night, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow with Yaki's
Bye.
baby. Bye.
Yakizaki.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.